Okay. Awesome. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming. So what you're going to expect in this Zoom call, I am not a proponent of long Zoom calls, so I'm going to try to make this as concise as possible. I am going to share just a couple of things that I took away from Glow, and I know Marcy was also there, and I'm going to have Kirsty share some of her thoughts. Yay! And so was Christy, and we missed the rest of you. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Oh, Morgan. Hi, Morgan. So I'm going to share just a little bit of that. And there was one thing that Rachel Hollis mentioned in her speech that she just said, you have to go look that up a little bit later, like if you want more, like go look it up. So I did. I came home and I looked it up, and what I found was awesome. Like, and I'm looking through here. I know Kelly Berry is pretty new, but the rest of you have been here for a little while. Like nobody's like just getting started this week, you know? And so this information is perfect for you. At least I felt like it was perfect for me. So I really liked how at Glow, they really talked about, hi, welcome home. Okay, so they talked a lot about how we're looking for results, right? We are looking for results, and they talked about all the ways to get there. So I know social media is a huge thing, a huge mountain that we're all trying to figure out and navigate and climb. And so they dedicated, can you get them to turn that down or off? They actually need to go to bed. So they did a lot of social media training, which was so helpful. Like I took tons and tons of notes. But really what hit me the most is you can pretty much go Google how to be good at social media. You can follow other social media gurus. You can do all of those things and learn all of those things. But there's a mindset thing that happens when you go to a big event. So it's like going to a church. Like you feel the energy of the people in your business, and you actually get to put a real person from somebody who's been sending you messages, you know? And so it can make the world of difference. But the one thing that I did a long training in Southern class about how to be the girl. To be your dream mascara artist girl, you have to put up with all of the crap. And why are you looking at me? So we always dream about the girl who's having all the successes, and it's so awesome. But seriously, I need you to move. Okay, sorry. It's better maybe when he was at home. So we dream about the girl that's having all the success, but really that girl didn't get any success without climbing all the nasty mountains that you have to climb, having dead parties and no likes or comments on a post. Like we've all been there. Okay, but for us on this call, I want to make sure it's still applicable. So I'm looking at names. Yes, everybody has been here for a while. So Rachel Hollis briefly mentioned a man named Clayt Mask. And I'm like, what did she just say? Like, what? Anyway, so Kirsty had to help me. His name was Clayt Mask. And she talked about the sorry, I'm making up new words. The psychological thresholds of business. So she worked so hard in her business, just like all of you guys have. You worked so hard. And then she was always hovering right below the $1 million mark in her company. Okay, and she could not hit it. And it really made me think, like, how many times have I been working in my business and I'm thinking, I'm already doing everything that I can handle. Like, I can't take my business to the next level because I can't handle that next level. And I know a lot of us probably feel that way. But then that's all she said. And she said, it's just you have to change your mindset. And I'm like, whoa. Like, you got to back up and teach me how to cross that threshold. And so here in this group where we've got everybody in here has hit elite. Everybody in here has kind of found a groove in their business. And so taking it to the next level beyond that is a psychological game. Okay, so here's what I found. I did some research, and I'm really excited to share that with you, and I'm going to go quick. Okay, so I looked up this guy. His name is Clayt Mask. He is a genius. He has brought computer info, like in software companies. He's built them from the ground up. He's done a lot of research. He is like the business guru. Like, look him up. He's the thing. Okay, so he says it's totally normal. Like a lot of people, and this may ring true to you, a lot of people will start their business, they're building their business, they hit that plateau, and they think, what's happening? Like what I was doing was working so good, now I'm plateauing, this is frustrating, this isn't supposed to happen. But he's like, what we're missing is that it's totally supposed to happen. In the cycles of business, you plateau and then you grow, and you plateau and then you grow. And to get through that plateau and to your next stage of the business, you really have to just evaluate where you are and find out what's going to kick you up to the next level. Okay, so then I was like, well, what's the right way? What's the right way to plow through and get to the next level? And I'm looking through here. All of you that are on this call have hit Elite. All of you took the jump to be Maskcara artists. What is happening? Oh, Kelly Berry is sharing her screen with us. Okay, hold on. Okay, she's looking at the comp plan, but I'm not going to talk about the comp plan. Okay, so I don't know how to get it off either. Excuse me. So as artists, we're already the type of people who are going to put ourselves out there and kind of gun for things. Like we're going to jump into it. We're going to hit stuff hard. We're going to do all the things. And so we're kind of go-getters, I guess you could say. So when you can know and internalize that having plateaus is going to be normal and natural, a natural part of you being a business owner, you won't be defeated, but you'll start to look for solutions instead. So you guys can, I see your guys' let's see. Does that work now? Can I do that now? No.
Why did I have all threes and then 2 4s and then 2 2s?
Who's doing math?
I don't know.
Someone's doing math. Mute yourself, you guys, so that we can all listen.
Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. Yay! Okay. Holy cow, there's a lot of people. I want to take a picture. Just a second. Just a second. We got to take a picture. Okay, so all right, so when you know that it's coming, and I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of business people say this, that they're like, okay, listen, you've got to, was it Ray Higdon or Bob Heilig that they said, you kind of have to inoculate yourself that when you get started in your business, you're going to have what's called plateaus, and you're going to have sucky days, and things are going to suck, okay? So to get unstuck, then I want to see raise of hands. So if you can turn on your camera at all possible, I want to see. Okay, so there's 2 different types of feeling stuck. There's the type of feeling stuck where you're totally overwhelmed. Like, guys, I made a to-do list this week when I got back from Glow, and I'm going to show it to you. It was all of this page and the back of this page, okay? As I was doing my self-development that morning, if something would come to my mind, I would just write it down and keep going. Okay, the reason that I have felt stuck is because all of this was swirling around in my head, and I would get overwhelmed, so I wouldn't want to do anything. Does that ring true to anybody else? When you think, to be successful in my Maskcara business, I'm going to have to do all of these things. Yes, it can be very, very overwhelming. Okay, so what this was Eric Worre. So everybody knows Eric Worre is also the boss. He says sometimes to get unstuck in that situation, you actually do better by slowing down, which is what I did this time. So I woke up early, I dedicated some time, but instead of trying to do all the things, I would just pick off what I could get done and then have to be satisfied with that and let it go. So that way I was still doing at least one thing every single day, and that's going to help me, that's going to give me the slight edge in the long run, but I don't quit because I'm not overwhelmed. Okay, but then there's the other part of the equation that it's like, no, I'm good. Like I have a pretty good system. I post every day. I reach out to people every day. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed, but I'm stuck at a plateau and I'm not seeing the growth that I want to see. So does anybody feel that way? Because I also feel like I was doing that too. Like it was a little bit of both. Like I can totally relate with both. So what he says in that situation, because you're kind of stuck, you're just stuck, is to do a burst. So you do a burst of action. So you, in a smaller amount of time, you're going to do a massive burst of action. So all you overwhelmed people, just close your ears. Don't listen to this part. So if you are doing, 1 to 2 reach outs a day or 1 to 2 whatevers, you 10x it and you do 10 to 20 in a week or that month. So whatever your normal is, say you normally post once a week, do a burst where in 1 week you post every single day that week. You normally do 1 makeover a month, double it, shoot for 2, shoot for 3, shoot for 4. He said you can also do a burst of just self-development. Dive in, read an entire book in 1 week. Just dive into personal development and just let it all soak in. So you're going to do a bigger action in a small amount of time. So I bet a lot of you can relate with both of those things. Me personally, I did. So I'm kind of doing a combo of the two. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it's okay to be stuck, especially since we are all seasoned mascara artists in here. I still don't see any brand new ones. Oakley is pretty new, but I mean, she's selling like crap. So it applies to you too, Oakley. Hi. So I want you to take those pieces and either slow down and do one thing at a time to get things done, or do a burst, okay? So I'm going to turn the time over to Jackie in case she has to jump off and go do something else first.
Yes, 1 second. Sorry, guys. I am getting an influx of messages in.
Okay, well, while you're getting set up, I know everybody on here knows who you are, except maybe Oakley. So just in case nobody is familiar with Jackie, Jackie is an influencer, and she is our team mama, and she is amazing. She's a guru. She is a top earner in the company, a top recruiter, a top trainer. She got honored at the last Dream for training the most girls to success, not just recruiting, but having them be successful. So she's
Thanks, Jess.
Too. You're welcome.
You're awesome. Can you write all that down? Send it to me in a letter. I'm teasing. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I am really passionate about one thing particularly in our business, and that is, if you guys follow me on social media or you watch my trainings, you know that I am really passionate about clarity in your business. And that means being very direct and writing down specifically what you want out of this artist program. If you just joined the call, will you mute your phone? I want you to listen. I'm so glad you're here, but just make sure you tap the mute thing. Anyways, so I think it's the number one pitfall, and I'm sure many of you guys you relate to it, that you wonder why you fall short of your goals month after month, or you wonder why hasn't my social media taken off, or just like little things like that where you kind of find yourself frustrated. And I'm not saying this for every situation, but for most girls in this business, and I've seen it happen over the course of 2 years, that happens when you are too afraid to write down exactly what you want every single month. And yes, I mean every single month. A lot of us, this happens too, where the month just ended last week and it's like, oh, it's still the beginning of March. Yeah, I'll get to selling makeup pretty soon. And that's not really how winners are comprised of. That's not how successful people get to where they're at. You have to rinse and repeat even after a crazy big month, or even after maybe a defeated month. Like maybe you weren't super proud of your own accomplishments in February, but it doesn't matter. It's the beginning of March and it is time to claim this month, and it's right now. It's not March 15th. It's not the night before the month ends. It's right now. You're going to say what you want in this month. And a lot of us, we get fearful. We're like, well, I don't want to write it down. I don't want to box myself in. I don't know. I'm going on vacation. My kids are having a crazy week. It's just too crazy, blah, 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 blah. And we use those as shields to block ourselves from pain. I think so. I absolutely think that's true, because it's easier to rely on the excuse of being too busy, or that you have too much going on, or flat out, you just don't want to write down that you want to make $2,000 this month, or that you want to make $200 this month, whatever your goal may be. And I want to challenge you guys tonight that as you get off this call, that you get some flippin' clarity and that you claim what you want. Yes, it's scary. And I'm not telling you that without a shadow of a doubt, Michaela Holt, you're going to say that you want to earn $500 this month. And if you back engineer it and you write that down, it's going to happen. No, there is going to be hiccups. Your month may not go perfect. Something crazy might happen. You might be super busy. But when you write it down and you make an exact plan of what you're going to do. Like, so for example, Michaela says she wants to make $500 this month. And she has to go and figure out by looking at the commissions table how much she would need to sell to make that happen. Then she needs to start breaking it down by day, being like, what am I going to do to get closer to that goal? But when you do that, yes, there's still hiccups, and no, sometimes we fall short or sometimes we exceed our goal. But I promise you that if you write it down and you show up and you actually make a plan, you'll be a heck of a lot closer than you would have been if you just kept coasting all month long. And coasting is a dangerous place to be in your artist journey. So many of us are like, yeah, I love the sisterhood. I love Maskcara. It's so much fun. I'll never quit. But oh man, it's been crazy. I don't know how to get back into the swing of things. When you coast like that, that's when you do slowly fall away and you lose vision of why you're here. So it's really important that you remind yourself at the beginning of every month. And if you need accountability, nag on your upline, tap her on the shoulder, social media wise, and tell her, I need some accountability. Can you, follow up with me? These are my goals. This is what I want to do. I'm going to check in with you every 3 days. And you guys kind of help each other out in that way. But like I said, I feel like not enough of us are really doing that we're too afraid to write that number down of what you want because you feel backed into a corner, or maybe it just seems too scary to actually say out loud or write down. And I want to challenge you guys that fear, that you can clobber that fear. You can do it tonight. By getting accountable with your leader and by just doing it. Like, I'm not telling you right now to go do something like super scary. Don't mass text all your friends. I'm not telling you to go live tonight and beg for signs. Like, I'm not telling you to do anything freaky deaky. I'm just telling you to get some clarity and ask yourself, what do you want? What would $500 extra this month, or whatever that number may be, solve for you? What problem would that solve? And remind yourself of that. And that's why your upline, it's really helpful for you to actually plug into her so that she can help remind you as well. But I know for a fact not enough of us are doing that every single month, because we would be seeing a lot more, just a lot more people like hitting their rank advancements, and a lot more people not feeling so frustrated with their position in their business. And I think that's all I really wanted to share. I mean, Glow was amazing. I really hope that if anything, if you guys had FOMO about Glow, that you got your rain ticket. And that you just trust us when we say events are huge to your business. It's a super powerful way for you to walk away with newfound energy and to go somewhere here. Because I know that everything's online and everything like that, but it's really powerful for you to actually go and see and touch and feel all the people around you that are in this business with you. There's some energy there that we'll never find online, and that's really powerful. So is that okay, Jessica, that I just kind of blabbed on about clarity?
Yes, but I want to piggyback on it just for a second.
Okay.
So I'm going to convert this Zoom call into a YouTube link so that everybody who's not here tonight can watch it. And when I post it, I want to challenge you guys all, by the time I've posted it, to have written down a very clear goal for what you want your Maskcara business to look like this month. That's going to be my challenge to you. Julie's already done it. Extra credit, Julie. You got it. Oh yeah, she's ready. Okay, so I just want to give you guys that little extra oomph. So you've got a couple of hours. You don't have to have it all back engineered yet, but I want you to know clearly. Okay, so real quick, Kirsty, will you share with us your favorite takeaways from Glow?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute. Okay, so I feel like you kind of touched on it, but I think the biggest thing for me was, Rachel Hollis talked a lot about like your inner mean girl. And what that means, she had us, like imagine her and name her, but it's that voice inside your head that says, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too fat, I'm not funny enough, like all those negative things that we say about ourselves that we would never say about another person, or that we would never let another person say about us either, but that's how we talk to ourselves. So she talked about that, and then Nicole Walters really talked about imposter syndrome, which I had heard of and kind of been like, yeah, whatever. And then today even I realized like, oh, that's something I struggle with, where I look at what I'm capable of or what I have done and I think, oh, I'm not actually good enough for that. And kind of downplaying that like, yeah, you can do this. So those two things together, recognizing that you're allowed to be successful and you're allowed to want to be successful. We're all women here, and it's really easy to say, oh, I'm just a mom and this is just something I do on the side. And if that is, you want it to be something you do on the side that's just a hobby, then that's fine. I'm not trying to diss that. But like most of us want this to be a business, and there's no shame in that. So that was something that really stuck out to me. And that and Jessica actually already said this, but that you can Google anything. Because we all have things that we see other people doing, and we're like, wait a minute, how are they doing that? And instead of like going to 1 million people or posting in the Maskcara artist group, we can just Google it, guys. Like, we have resources. And so I just thought that was where my mind was at. And now I realize that I just said we see another Maskcara artist do something. The one other thing, and I think it was Nicole Walters that said this, can't remember. It was somebody else. Unfollow some of the Maskcara artists. Like, you don't need to be comparing yourself to Kat Fairchild or to, Kirsten Tyrell or whatever. Like, you are you, and that's enough. And you can be successful the way that you are, because you have different things that you're bringing to the table, and you have different things that your customers and your potential recruits are attracted to you for. So just be real, own that, and go out there and do it. That was my biggest takeaway, is like, just do it, I guess. Tell your inner me, do it.
Yes, I loved it, because you would never let anybody walk into your house and start saying nasty things to you about how you're not good enough. You'd be like, girlfriend, I think she said, she was like, you'd get ghetto real fast, and you would. Like, get out of my house. So the next time they come up and tell you, you need to tell them, get out of my house. Okay. That's the press household at night. It's really calm and soothing. Okay, so I had kind of touched base with Marley a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. Did she want to start? Marley, do you want to share what you learned at Flow? Okay, she can come on if she wants to come on. But I also see Candace was there, Marcy was there, Robin was there, Christy was there. Do any of you want to share what you learned? We've got like 10 minutes. And I could keep going about setting goals if you guys want me to do that. But I think everybody kind of wanted to know what we took from Glow. Candace, I can see it in your eyes. You want to do it. She's dying.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. So I guess you put me on the spot. So actually going to those conventions is like so much brain. Sorry, I have kids still awake here. It's somebody earlier. It's so much like brain, so much information on my brain. I definitely needed to like decompress. I felt like I left with so many stinking ideas, but it was so awesome. But I'm trying to think of like my biggest takeaway. Definitely what you guys said about believing in myself. And definitely just reiterating the fact that I believe it was Rachel Hollis who said, if you're not making money, it's not business, it's just a hobby. Well, I don't want a hobby. And so that really struck home with me. I'm going to apologize for the very loud noise here. You want a hobby? Yeah. So anyways, that really struck home with me about, I don't want this to be a hobby. I want this to be a business. And literally, was it Ben? Someone had us write down our actual goals for this year, and like writing down what I want to make was huge for me. Just in like I couldn't believe even the number I wrote down. So it was huge for me. It was such a life-changing experience, realizing what all this is capable. Yes, there were like tons of ideas there about how you could set up automation and do all kinds of things to streamline your business. But really, it was just so motivational, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I'm sure there's a ton more, but I wrote down so many stinking notes. If I had them in front of me, I could shoot out some more stuff, but I don't have it in front of me.
Well, maybe if I don't let you prepare, then maybe you could use them. Sorry, Candace. I love you. Can we all do a clap for Candace? She hit 4,000 in sales. Yes. That needs a minute. That needs a minute. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm not going to drag this out. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like me to go over before we hop off?
Hey, Jess, I'm here.
Oh, yay. Yay. Okay, good.
Well, and again, you guys pretty much hit everything. You had the nail on the head. But I think just one other thing that's been a really big key takeaway for me is there's often times that I feel like I'm drowning in my business, and just really focusing on working smarter and not harder. And I've said that to myself for many, many years now. But I think watching Ben and Kirsten and them specifically talk about the action items they have in place to work smarter, to allow for like automation with emails. I know that Jessica's on here, and her and I have been talking a little bit about that. Writing out goals so that you can see them and implement them and feel them and they're tangible. Just thinking of ways to make this business work for us. Like I know Nicole Walters was talking so much about making money in her sleep. Like maybe us starting to utilize Pinterest a little bit more, landing pages to where people are coming to and they're getting directed directly to your website so that they can not only see the illuminator that you just put up on Instagram, but they can see all that Maskcara has to offer. And I think I'm really excited. I'm hoping everybody will get a chance to check out the Glow replays. It was one of the best conferences I've been to, and I've been to a lot of professional conferences because of my other corporate job. But I just feel like there's going to be so many actionable items. So if you're one of those people, like I did a training once that said we need to stop eating from the buffet table. We're taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and we're not sitting down to eat our meals. And if that's you and you feel you found yourself just taking and learning but not implementing, I think there's going to be a lot of action items that we can put into place. And whether or not you purchase the replay, hopefully as your team leaders can walk you guys through that, and we can really do some trainings down the road on ways to work smarter,
Yes, I love that you said that, because they kept asking like what's your biggest struggle, and I just kept writing like my words that had come to my mind were like drowning, overwhelmed, like
yes.
all of those things. And I know all of us have felt like that in one way or another. And so yeah, that's why I loved it. So no matter what you're doing that thing, slowing down and doing one thing at a time, and actually
exactly. And that's the key. Just thinking about actionable items can feel really overwhelming, right? Yeah. But I'm not saying everybody has to learn MailChimp, but I'm not saying everybody has to learn Pinterest. I'm not saying everybody has to start doing Instagram, but if you can pick one of those things to focus on to really get it working for you, I just think it was a really big takeaway for me.
Huge. It is huge. Okay, Jessica, thank you, Marley. So Jessica says she needs help with her goals. She's good at making them, but not by being motivated by them. Okay, so I love that, Jessica. I love that you wrote that. So making goals can be super fun. Like, here's my goal sheet for the month, right? But you're right. If you're not motivated by them, it doesn't matter what the heck you write down. It's not going to get you anywhere. So if that is happening to you, then you need to flip it and look at it another way. So what I would encourage you to do is keep asking yourself why. So if you write, okay, my goal is to sell $500 in makeup. Why? And you say, well, I want to earn $125. And you say, why? You say, well, I'd really like to cover my electric bill. Why? So I would ask at least 7 times, and you might, seriously, you can't mind that. Can you guys hear that? You might get to a deeper meaning. Like I've even heard about some girls that are like, well, I want to do this. And they're like, well, why? And they finally get down to where they're like crying. They're like, because I feel like my house is ugly, but you never thought about that when you were writing your goals, So get to the real root of why you want to do what you do, and it changes the game. And then I would also encourage you guys to also flip the script on what you're telling yourself that you can do, okay? So breaking through that threshold and just saying, I can do this, and then your brain, and then find, just like what Rachel Hollis said at Glow, find 50 or 100 ways to do that. So if your goal is to sell $500, how do we sell the makeup? We do online classes, we do in-person makeovers, we do, write down all the ways that you can get there, and then it's out of your brain. It's not swirling around in there, and you can pick off little chunks and little bites that's doable for you and get them accomplished. Okay, Michaela says, I've not really been working my business the last few months. So the two things that really hit me hard at Glow was when Nicole Walters said, hell is like coming to the end of your life and seeing the version of yourself you could have become. And when someone else said, envision the woman you want to become and show up as her. No, totally. And I think that is like, when they said that, I'm like, yeah. And there's so many times that I don't act like the version of myself that I want to be, but I can change it. And it's so much easier said than done. But doing those little things, either doing a short burst to get you like out of your groove, or slowing down and focusing, which this squirrel brain needs to do. So that's what I'm doing. So you kind of decide where you're at and then go with it. And then you can start showing up as the woman that you want to be. It's so cool. Okay. All right, guys, we've only got a minute left, pretty much. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you guys later.